Hi, hi, hi. Welcome to Saturday Night Live, everyone. It's 9:11 p.m. What's the emergency? There is a sense of urgency in the air. And with that being said, we've got a brand new piece of Palo Santo that we are going to light as we connect and Tristan gets comfortable in my lap. Hopefully his nails don't go through my pants one more time. It doesn't feel good. Okay. So. Let's get the Palo Santo going. How's everyone doing? The date is May the 3rd of 2025. And I believe today, or perhaps May the 4th, we have Pluto going retrograde in Aries. Getting down to the nitty gritty. So, for those who don't know, my name's Lyle. This is my channel here on YouTube. If you're new here, a very warm welcome to you. I trust that something here will resonate with you. And if you are someone who's coming back, hi, Kiva, welcome. If you are someone who is coming back, thank you so much for continuing to show up and suit up and dive in. I just feel like I need to get this Palo Santo going a little bit more. If you're new here and you want to learn more about me, you can check out the description box down below. You can check out this channel. There are hundreds of videos over a dozen years to support your spiritual growth. And I trust that any video you come across at any time, there will be some tidbit, some supportive wisdom, and perhaps even some healing for you. At this time, I'd like to ask that I'm a clear and pure channel to bring through messages from Source Divine, loving and kind, with the intention of supporting the manifestation of our greatest and highest good in this lifetime, beyond the mind, via the pathway of a calm and central nervous system. Woo-hoo-hoo. So, the question of the day is, how well do you give yourself permission to receive? I've actually just, I'm in the same room. I've just actually turned my desk. I've done a quarter turn of the desk. So we're looking at the back wall versus the inside wall that we were looking at earlier. So my bookcase is still here. And then on this side of the bookcase is the old background. So I'll just move it around. I also have a wall hanging over the window as well. The question though, that Spirit has posed to us is, how well do we allow ourselves to receive? How often do we give ourselves permission to rest? So I didn't connect yesterday on Freedom Friday. I didn't connect because you know what? Honestly, this entire week, so today is day 4 in a row for me off of work, the job, a nice extended long weekend I've had. And I go back to the JOB tomorrow. And it was funny because I had all these ideas, all these plans, all this stuff I was going to get done. Very little of the plans I had panned out. And mostly because I had very little energy to commit to said projects. And I really don't like doing things that I cannot give my all to. Perhaps it's a perfectionist trait, maybe because I'm a Virgo, just really because it doesn't feel integral for me. If I just go and do something because, I want to make money, or I feel like people are waiting on me, or da 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 da. I like to operate from a space, and spirit works best. God, source, my angels, my whole team works best with me when I listen to the inner guidance, to the nudges, and to the wisdom that flows from within, that promotes and encourages rest. So I've literally been off work since last Tuesday. So Wednesday, I had to go to the dentist. Wednesday, I got a lot done. There was a lot, it felt like I got done, and dealing with the after effect of a dentist visit. Thursday, not much of anything, just puttered around the home space. Did the with the dogs, and bed early. Friday, all day. First the day seemed to go quick in the early part of the day, so I shifted the time of the live until 2:22, because I'm like, yeah, for sure. And then 2:22 came and went, and it was like, you know what? Everything in me, there was all like this voice saying rest. And even yesterday when I got up, I was like, oh my gosh, I've got so much to do. I want to pre-record some messages. Da, 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 da. Thursday, yeah, I did a marathon of yearly readings, actually. Instead of month to month, this one client, it was almost as if it was a telepathic communication that this client really wanted, not the month to month, the whole year of messages. And I was guided on Thursday to sit. It was a 3-hour marathon, and it was beautiful and incredibly supportive, I trust, to her and also for me. So that's what I did there. And then yesterday, it was just, everything was saying, no, it's okay to rest. So at one point in the day, I was sitting outside with the dogs, and I saw this beautiful Cooper's hawk flying overhead. And hawk to me is always the messenger, and especially the Cooper's hawk, because it's a familiar to me. Always the message of seeing things and life from this higher perspective. So hit that thumbs up if you connect with the energy of hawk. Yesterday, when hawk flew in, the message was higher octave of the heart. And as soon as that thought came in, I saw one, and then I saw two, and then I saw two handfuls of vultures that just drifted in. It was as if it was like a movie screen, the film passing by. All of a sudden, the hawk is there. It's still circling, and I'm feeling all like, oh, warm and fuzzy, higher octave of the heart. And then all these vultures drift in. And, vulture is the symbol, the messenger of death and rebirth. And I've had many, many, many experiences with vulture energy. One being about, I can't really, time is all kind of a blur. It seems like the years just are rolling into each other rather quickly. I feel like it was 2 to 5 years ago, I had this really up close and personal experience with vultures down at my healing tree that I had been visiting for 20 years at that point, daily, almost daily. The daily visits stopped after Frank passed. So the vulture, this particular day, a few years ago, was literally flying about 6 feet over my head. You know how sometimes when a bird crosses in front of the sun and you see the shadow, and then you look up to like, what was that? So that was the experience I had. And when I looked up, the vulture was literally 6 to 7 feet above my head. And as soon as I saw it, the message that came through was death and rebirth take place within the same space. And so that was like, whew, profound at that time. So yesterday, when the hawk and then the vultures flew in, I feel really guided. I didn't know if I was going to share the writing, the message that came through yesterday in the span of 16 minutes. And it was literally, it flew as soon as I saw the hawk and then, the couple handfuls of vultures come through. I was guided to come inside and grab my book and a pen and go back outside. And they were still, as vultures do, they ride the thermals, and the hawk was just, flapping and then gliding. And I was guided to write. And this is the message that was received. And I feel like it's a very important message, 1111, for all of us to hear at this time, because we're in the thick of it. When we last connected, when did we last connect live? Thursday morning? Did we connect Thursday? Yes, we did. And, then we were in the thick of it. It's just been a really energetic week. And today, which is Saturday, May the 3rd, there's been a slightly unsettled energy in the air all day. And as much as, things got accomplished today, there's still a bit of unsettled energy in the air. And I'll say I feel it in my stomach, and our stomach, our gut, is our second brain. And so I always pay attention. I always pay attention to what's going on in that second brain, more so than what's going on in, the brain in our head that we all identify with. So here's the message received on May the 2nd. May the 2nd, 2025. Hawk, higher octave of the heart. The space of perspective supports heartful, FULL, co-creation. Death and rebirth over and over again within the same space. The sacred breath, body temple. Vulture lurks and encourages you to fly beyond the lies hidden in eyes blinded by truth. You are living proof. Poof. This life is but a moment in the abundant eternalness of light. Born for delight, live it now, take flight on thermal waves of transformation. Living bliss, abundantness. All were born for this. As of yet, the few are living bliss. More blisters than bliss, soreness. Soar to new heights. All is within you. Sacredness is truth. Be good to you. Breathe. Sacred is your breath that supports your ease to the flight of bliss. Transformative, explorative, joy and bliss, abundantness, born of pain and sorrow. Promised is not tomorrow. What is happened yesterday and cannot be changed. Here now, as your breath, let go of what you resist. Breathe. Focus on this. Breath of fire, heart's desire, maiden, mother, crone. Each sacred breath lifts us higher, sacred fires, lifetime fanning flames. Make whole, all is holy, the sick and the lame. Speak his name, hers too. Father, mother, sister, brother, there now to protect one another. Such a shame that which has befallen the human family, HUE, man, family. More foes than friends, begin again. Each day, new dawn, turn the light on. Breathe, new beginnings, full of blessed, unlimited, expansive potential. Each day, each breath, do your best. Rest. Give yourself permission to rest. The best depends on this. Rest when called. Honor and answer. This rest with your breath is sacred. Much work, much healing, supportive of transformation takes place here. Do you hear the call from within? Who else but you can answer this? Honor this. And that message flowed through yesterday between 2:44 and 3 p.m., all because of the hawk and the vultures. So we thank the hawk and the vultures. I thank the hawk and the vultures for the inspiration. And, I'm grateful to my higher self, to God, to the human that is Lisa Lyle, who answered the call and brought that message through, because it feels very, very hopeful. Thank you, Kiva. Thank you. Coming soon, a book of poetry. How are you doing? How are you doing, Kiva? I see we have 2 live viewers. Who else is here with us? Hit those thumbs up. Oh, right. I wanted to share with you the astrology. This is what we do Saturday nights. I feel this week I've been a little bit, we had our election in Canada here at the beginning of the week. Deep sadness kind of settled in after that. And, and then it's just been about processing. And I feel like a big message of the time. Yes, awesome. I'm so glad I did a little bit too. Nature is so healing because nature is who we are. And I was having a conversation. I spoke with my father and my stepmom today. And, one of the things I shared with them, some of the poetry that's been coming through these days. And, one of the comments was, oh, you ought to be a preacher or something like that. And it's like, it really feels like we need less preachers and more teachers and teachers of the basics. One thing that came through in the last couple of days, because May 1st, we connected on May 1st, did we not? Yes, we did. We connected on May 1st, Beltane, May Day. And I was guided. I started remembering back to being in school, being a young maiden in elementary school, and there was celebration around May Day, Beltane, and sometimes there was the maypole and the ribbons and making crowns of flowers to wear, and that's really simplistic. It felt like that was an honoring and a celebration of the cycle, an honoring and celebration of the rebirth of spring and the midway point towards summer, the solstice. And so it feels like, preacher, we've all seen the preachers, right? The preachers, and it's obviously that's where the saying comes from, practice what you preach, because there are many who do not, in fact, practice what they preach. And so I guess that goes right back to the beginning of this connection, saying that a part of the process is the honoring and not connecting, not coming here and sharing, not connecting with clients to do any sort of intuitive energy work with them, unless this vessel feels good. Otherwise, it lacks integrity. And we don't want to be passing any low vibe on. We want to be mirroring to the world the beauty that exists within them, or the not just the beauty, all of it, the compassion, the kindness, the gifts, the talent, these kind of things. Teacher, yeah, because teacher, we're always simultaneously teacher and student. And on Thursday, when I sat and connected with the client, it was actually after the live on Thursday morning. And then for the better part of that afternoon, I was bringing through messages for a client. And, what a beautiful gift. I haven't sat for a long time and delivered a whole, at that point, there were 9 videos, 9 months to bring through. I haven't sat like that and done that in a long time. And it was actually really great, because a big part of the message is like, Spirit really wants us to harness, our higher self wants us to harness the power of the moment, our creative power in the moment. And, by giving ourselves the permission to rest, by giving ourselves permission to receive, and to take and create space to honor that which we're receiving, really opens up this floodgate of unlimited potential. And the potential is in the co-creativity with others. And the teaching is really getting back to basics. Getting back to basics, wrapping ribbons around the flagpole on May Day, making crowns for the girls and boys with flowers and twigs and sticks. I saw this young man at the grocery store a couple days ago, and he must have been coming home from school. He was probably 4 or 5, and he had a crown on. And so I went over to him and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, buddy, I love your crown. Is it your birthday today?" And he looked at me a little odd for a moment, and then he shook his head. And the crown had the ABCs written all the way around the crown. So, I'm like, well, whatever it is, maybe you're a prince. I don't know. That crown is super cool. That crown's super cool. And his mom said, oh, he made it through his ABCs. He made it all the way from A to Z in the alphabet today. And so he got his crown. And I'm like, that is so awesome. And, it's the little things. It's the little things, because after that interaction, he was standing a little taller. He had a big smile on his face. And it's like, I felt lit up. I felt, joyful and appreciative of the connection. Mom looked like she did. And so did this little prince. And so, it's the little things. It's the basics. And I envision a world, if I'm here to teach anything, I want to teach people to let's get back to basics on Earth School. Bare feet on the ground, just in the moment, chasing butterflies, looking up to the sky, Perhaps we can discover together what's going on in the skies before our very disbelieving eyes. Everything is hidden in plain sight, and it's up to us to connect the dots, if you will. Connect the dots. It's like a um, big and easy dot to dot. It's a big and easy, and it's simple, and it's spring breezy, and it's as easy as bare feet to the ground, and we can begin to connect and flow again as we are naturally meant to before. And I suspect children these days, especially being born to moms with technology in their hands, a lot of times, I suspect children these days are uh, born with overstimulated nervous systems, and it probably doesn't get much better for them once they get home. Ah, thank you. The brain, it's more, yeah, it's the brain and the heart, I think, together. It's when they're together, it connects and flows well. When I get too, you know, um, the head can be a hindrance. And I really have to say, since transitioning and making the move to the new home space, it's been quite a transition the last 6 months, the last 6 years. The last 6 years have been a lot for my nervous system, my son's nervous system. And it's only 6 years on and out, moving to a completely different town for the first time in 22 years. It finally feels like things are starting to settle, and the creative juices are flowing, and it's not really because it's going and doing more. It's in fact doing less and being more present for ourselves, or for me, for myself, and for all of us, for ourselves, in whatever's going on. Because if we don't show up for ourselves, who will? And it's the time we take showing up for ourselves in our daily life, doing the things that bring us joy, harnessing the power of the moment, uh, speaking into existence our dreams, the life that we envision, what we see. And hopefully somewhere along the way, we inspire others, and we've got, all of a sudden, there's a large amount of us riding a similar wave, supporting the elevation of co-creation, divine co-creation, and being abundantly supported, uh, unlimited resources, when we follow the path of devotion and honoring ourselves like the mystical drop within the eternal ocean, temporarily riding the wave, currently in human form. We are the current and so much more. We are the form and the formless, and both exist in this present moment. I like that. We are the form and the formless. My brain, I said to my father today when I was talking, I said, Dad, like in the one of the poems, I'm like, there's not original thought in there. And I guess it is, original through the connection to source. So, all right, let's get to this. Let me have a sip here. Going to bed early. Have you been hitting the hay early, Kiva? Before 11 here. I don't know how I'm going to make it through a day at work tomorrow. you know get through work and come home and fall into bed. Yeah, yeah. I feel like self-care. So, warm baths, I've been doing that. I feel like we all could benefit from having warm baths or warm showers, and adding things that, again, create more ease. I love to work with magnesium flakes in the tub, essential oils, sometimes like a coconut oil, and candlelight and crystals. So that feels like Taurus season energy for some reason this year. We are in Taurus season, and that means we are at the midpoint to the solstice. That's what May Day was all about, May 1st. I was guided to write about Taurus season, Freedom Horse, happy to live beyond the blind side. And then, so this came through before that poem or that piece of prose came through, where it said, vulture lurks and encourages you to fly beyond the lies hidden in eyes blinded by truth. I didn't realize that I had, the day before or whatever, in a different book, written Freedom Horse, happy to live beyond the blind side, blind spot, sweet spot too, if we choose. See, it's all about choice. It feels now that we are at a choice point. Either we allow that which is convoluted and complicated to discourage us and distract us, or we hone in on the path of honoring and the path of ease and conviction. And truth is, it's simple. It's not convoluted. It's bare feet on the ground, breathing, breathing in the fresh, clean air, hugging a tree, laying on Mother Earth. It's the simple things that lead to the bigger things and the great things, and the fulfillment of planetary missions, and the harnessing of the fated path, the destined path, connecting the dots, weaving all into existence now, and creating a life of ease and simplicity. In truly, ultimately, it's about being comfortable in our skin and somehow, some way coexisting within the and perhaps and hopefully improving the current energetics that we live within, the system that has been created around us. Outside of that is the system, yeah. And the chaos, when we're in the chaos, we're not flipping the devil in the mirror and seeing the lived experience. And it's through the lived experience that we can gain compassion. Spirit's everywhere. And we ought to be really optimistic. It's so funny. There were two cars as I was walking Rex today. There were three cars parked in a parking lot, and the first car had the license plate 639. The middle car, I can't remember what it was, but the outside car, the right car, had the license plate 936. It was the mirror image. I did a double take because my life path is 36-9. So I'm like, oh, there's my numbers. But to see the mirror image, and it's really beautiful, like since the Virgo eclipse and full moon back there in March, the psychic gifts are opening. And those of us who had once closed ourselves down or had once been closed down because of due to circumstances outside of our control, and we have taken the time to focus on the healing journey so that we can be highly, sensitively, productively, and inspiringly of service in the world. Simply by living and breathing. Yeah. So much is, I hope some of it's making sense. So, and this is another. That is, I didn't realize. So today I've recorded a couple of videos that will be released at a later time. I think one tomorrow and then one's an interactive. I'm not sure. But again, here, I didn't even realize because this came up in one of the videos today. So I wrote sweet spot 2, if we choose. Holy cow. This cow energy has been coming up, like sacred cow. And the sayings, I have in one of my books, I have a bunch of sayings. When they come to mind, I write them down, and I trust at some point in time, perhaps there'll be some expanded wisdom that comes from them. And one of them is holy cow. Where did that expression come from? I do know that in Hinduism, the cow is holy, it's sacred, and the divine feminine and the masculine ride on the back of the cow. And so this speaks about union. So it does feel like we're at this choice point of emerging and coming together of the masculine and feminine within ourselves, and so that as we do that, it calls in the counterpart in the 3D, because many of us are meant to work in partnership in the 3D with the divine counterpart. I mean, it's a part of the, sacred covenant or the contracts that we made before we came into this lifetime. I strongly feel that is true. And so there's, when the coming together of the masculine and feminine in the third dimension, when the divine counterparts meet, the feminine is allowed to settle into ease, to relax more deeply, so that she may go forward fulfilling her work, her healing work. And the masculine, it's like he reestablishes connection to his purpose of provider, of protection, of safety and security for the feminine and the children that, they serve, whether they have those children together or it's just, the projects, the creations that they give birth to together. So, holy cow, sacredness is you, divine union, balloons, divine union, balloons. I forgot that I wrote this. This is like another channeled message. And all I had written at the top of the page was Taurus season, midpoint to the solstice. And then what's in purple here is the message that came through. And then I was guided to use a different color pen for the astrology of it all. I forgot about that. That's a part of being in the moment, is the forgetfulness, because it's like when we're in the moment, when we're in the flow of spirit, of source, when we're allowing ourselves to simply be the vessel through which God works through, breathes through, co-creates through, lives and dreams as you. When we're in that space, there is sort of a forgetfulness in that, because there's nothing that we need to remember, because we're just in this continual flow of co-creation. Does that make sense? Because I find, whether it's delivering messages here on lives and sharing with all of you, or doing private sessions with clients, it's like in the moment, and then once it's done, like it's done. I oftentimes don't remember like details of it, and very rarely am I guided to go back and look for details. So holy cow, sacredness is you. Divine union balloons into creative existence beyond resistance. Make a wish, live as if all is God ordained. Beyond the insane, clarity reigns and reveals none was in vain. Sacred blood runs in your veins. So we've got Saturn's transitioning or transitioned into Aries. We also have Pluto in Aries, which is the ruler of Scorpio, going retrograde. So this feels, you know what I'm feeling? Have you ever done a backflip in water and you got water up your nose, or done a front circle or a back circle? I'm talking about like in the water, not like jumping out from outside of the water into it, like in the water, and you get all the water in your nose and it goes down your throat and everything like that. That's what this Pluto going retrograde in Aries feels like. And it may be a little bit, it's almost like it's our ego, it's our deepest wound, if you will. It's the deepest lie that we've told ourselves that's in the death throes. It's taking its last gasp, its last breath. So stick with it, breathe with it, move with it, keep going. We got this. Yeah. Yeah. And this Pluto in Scorpio, and I'm not quite sure how long this retrograde transit is there. No, Pluto in Aries, but Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. Deep, dark depths, shadowy, almost like it feels like dungeon-like. And it does feel like there's some deep deception in this area. And if we think about Scorpio, it is really deep, and it's also very sexual and sensual. So there could be something about that coming to the surface, perhaps to be healed and cleared once and for all. That's interesting. We have a Venus and Neptune conjunct in Aries. So we got a lot going on in Aries. Remember, everything was happening back in Pisces. And now that Pisces party, that watery party they're all joining up in fiery Aries. And again, Venus in Aries conjunct Neptune, Venus really seeks to harmonize us in the 3D, in the physical union, in the partnership, in the third dimension, where Neptune is more the ideal, the dreamy, the spiritual, into the now. Excuse me, it was 4 4s across the board. I have to put the little pillow under my tush here. Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto in Aquarius. Thank you. Yeah. Pluto in Aquarius, the water bearer that is an air sign. I said Aries, the fire sign. So it feels like we've got all of this energy. So that's right. Pluto went retrograde back into Aquarius from Pisces. So Venus in Aries energy is a little bit of like the tomboy. And remember, we've been talking about that a little bit, like tomboy, the cowgirl, one with the guys, boys and girls, figuring out that they're different. Hey, what do you got there? Hey, what do you got there? And beginning that kind of exploratory in the third dimension. What I'm guided to say about that is perhaps the reason it's coming up. And again, I was saying Pluto retrograde in Aries. Pluto retrograde in Aquarius makes even more sense because then it's going to move back through Pisces and then into Aries. And when that time comes, it's going to be like a whole new you. And so it feels like perhaps this is about that tomboy or cowgirl phase, girl meets boy phase in your life. How that happened, what that looked like, what was the connection, and more important, what was it that came before that may have warped is the word that's coming in, warped that connection. There's something here about that big opportunity for healing. And we have Mars in Leo, fiery Mars in Leo, fiery Leo, strength, courage, protection, being proud of who you are, being proud of being proud of your accomplishments here on Earth. Taurus is a fixed Earth sign. Earth signs are slow and steady, if not slightly perfectionist or over analytical. It's about the harmony and the balance, which we're getting with Venus and Neptune energy. The Mars in Leo and the Sun in Taurus is encouraging us. It's almost a celebratory energy. As interesting as that other energy was about sexuality, the sacredness of it, and how that has been a way that for lifetimes, for generations, there has been deception and harm through said connection, and not of and it's been a perpetuating pattern. Remember, we're the chain breakers, the karma clearers, all of that. You're doing work that those who came before were unable to do. So thank you. Oh, and the next thing is self-responsibility, your divinity. We have a Mercury and Chiron conjunct energy, and they're in Aries. Chiron, the wounded healer. Mercury, the big communicator. And so this energy has us feeling, Mercury has us feeling reflective. What's the objective? What are we projecting? And what is being projected at us? So a lot of the, mental energy. Chiron, the wounded healer is about the interpersonal, the deepest wound, the deepest part of you. And perhaps with Pluto retrograde, this is what's going to come to the surface. It's going to be the last grasp at this strangle or chokehold that some energetic has had over us for lifetimes. So it feels like it's a collective energy. And those of us who are choosing, making choices, are going to feel the transformative process of this through the weekend and into next week. There is, with all the stuff going on in the sky, there is a bit of a low key vibe, eh? Like unsettled, low key, slow moving, do the hokey pokey and we kind of turn around and check it out. What's going on? What's it all about? Fun. Fun, I feel silly sometimes because do the hokey poke. It's like, I guess it just is how it is. Objective. So I was guided to write low key feelings, stillness, peace, objective observation of the reflective consciousness, deep, mind blowing, objective observation of the reflective consciousness. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Opportunity to tap into and be supported by the vast reservoir of spirit. I just wrote reservoir of spiritual. And then that was it. Spiritual support. I don't know why. That's interesting because that was crossed out. And I'm pretty sure it says support underneath there. So are we not feeling supported? Are we not tapping into that? Because it is a choice, right? Let's get some cards. I saw the 444, so I'm feeling like the angels would like to come in a bit. Let's see. The angel of joyfulness. I mean, ultimately, that's what it's about. Our joyfulness and our bliss. This is what we were born for. And if we don't listen within, if we don't answer the call within, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Who else is going to answer your phone? Right? Who else is going to answer your phone? No one. I know. It's hilarious. And then this. I mean, mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the most joyful one of all? All of us. Let's do this. Okay. Let's do that. 2 more cards. We'll reveal them together. Oh, perfect. We got a lot of boobs here tonight. We got a lot of breastises. It's perfect, though, that we've got the angel of joyfulness, the angel of pleasure, and then we have the masculine and the feminine, right? The goddess of the earth and the god of the underworld. 2 angels and the masculine and feminine. And this is speaking about temptation. And this is speaking about that energy around the sacral chakra, sexuality and sex conduct. It's such an important component of our healing process, is to clear that most tender part of ourselves, the space between our hips, our roots and our foundation, and the space between our hips, which is the home of supportive co-creation. It's where we bring to life our medicine and share it in the world. And it does feel like perhaps we are led into temptation. And perhaps through that sacral connection, we have been led into temptation by those who do not have our greatest and highest good in mind or in heart, right? And so it does feel like this is the time for us to harness and reestablish or remember, perhaps, and just reflect, observe at how far we have come. An idea connected to imagination, creativity, and nature is coming your way. Harness the power of each and every day. And each and every hour within that day, honor the inner voice that is um, always speaking, continually speaking to you, speaking through you. Something which no longer serves you is about to end. Yes. And this feels like forgiveness. Again, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And, forgiveness is a huge component to the path of personal freedom. We'll never be free unless we forgive ourselves. And as we forgive ourselves, we set them free too. And we set ourselves free. Most of us say easily, most people will say easily, oh, yeah, I forgive that, and then we continue to allow the trespassing to happen over and over again. This Taurus season is a season where we are no longer allowing trespassing, particularly and especially when it is insulting to our soul, our innate inner knowing. Our innate inner knowing is that we're here for delight and joy. We're here to abundantly co-create with the sacred lover as well with our sisters and brothers. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Something wondrous and magical is about to happen. I claim that. Yeah, no more trespassing. No, will no longer tolerate any trespassing upon my eternal soul that resides within the tender human. No, no, no. Take pleasure in the things you do. And if you're not getting pleasure out of it, why are you doing it? And don't say, oh, because it's a job and I got my rent to pay and bills to pay. Yes. And then what are you doing outside of that? Because hopefully we're all working outside of that on these projects that are joyful, that are joyful co-creation with the divine, that open up all kinds of streams of resources into this lifetime. Beyond the mind, miracles exist. Why do you resist? Joyfulness. Healing. Look at the bottom of the deck. They're saying an aspect of you or a situation in your life is in need of healing. You see where his hands are across the body, the sacral chakra. Yeah, I know. Ooh la la. Ooh la la. And again, this is how partnerships in the third dimension support as well. The masculine rises up and remembers who he is, and the feminine softens and allows herself to be supported, allows herself to settle into her femininity, into her gifts. The healer also needs healing, right? The giver also needs to receive. One more, and I feel like it's the ancestors. They've been nagging or nudging me all day. Yes, and the masculine and feminine, when they come together in support, in divine union, they help one another grow and heal more than they ever could have on their own. So it's a fallacy and it's an untruth that's out there that we don't need one another. We may not need one another on some level, on an energetic level, on a soul level. We absolutely do. And yet it's not about the codependent need. It's not about the narcissist and empath, that feeding that energetic. It is about actually healing so that narcissist and empath energetic dissolves and heals itself, right? Because that's toxic. It's about coming together in partnership and the touch of one another being incredibly healing. The heart speak, the language of the heart, the communication between hearts is the healing, and the physical interaction is, a beautiful healing component of divine partnership and union. So at this time, I'd like to just call on our ancestors who have been very present all day today and ask that they bring clear guidance of what they have been wanting to convey. You are the key, Destiny. And they're saying take the top card. I didn't look at it, so I'm taking the top card. This is the message they wanted to convey. Destiny and love. We are the key, and each day is the canvas, a new dawn to begin again. Allowing ourselves to be the paintbrush in God's hands, allowing, taking the key, if you will, and the key, it feels like, is bowing the head towards the heart and unlocking. They're saying, go to your writing today. So I did write something today. I forgot. I didn't forget. I knew I wrote something. Is that today? Yeah. And this came through in 5 minutes at 7:31 to 7:36. Sacred is the sabbatical. Sacred is your surrender to the flow. In breath, you rise. Exhale, release resistance to lies. Inhale, rise. Exhale, release. What are you choosing to believe? Does it bring you peace? Sacred is the breeze that brings ease and supports release. Breathe in, breathe out. In reverence, bow down. Your head toward your heart is the most sacred space to start. Holy sabbatical, remembering, surrendering to eternal love, never ending, now present. So you may want to snap a picture of that. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And love, all you need is love. And this is the east to west walk, the walk with our heart along the red road of destiny, the path of healing that each are called to take in this lifetime. And we are supported and loved so much by the ancestors. I mean, I'm seeing the peaceful morning dove Your days are more of mourning are done. Release and let go of the past. And you know what I just heard? This is going to sound so terrible. And this is why I resist sometimes saying things. I heard release and let go of the past and don't let the door hit you on the ass. Sounds like Frank is in the house. It's good to have fun, right? It's good to have fun. It's good to be silly. It's good to just say what's there. And when I'm hearing "don't let the door hit you on the ass," I'm seeing one of those like saloon doors. It's like, I'm coming out. You make an entrance, come in, and then the door hits you on the backside. So a part of that message as we wrap up tonight is feeling, um, you know go out there, do you, and don't be cocky about it, don't be egocentric about it. Be authentic be authentic. Bowing your head towards your heart, it's really about humility. None above the other. We are all sisters and brothers, sacred lovers, here to remember and surrender to the process of remembering so that we may reunite and reignite the ecstatic passion of the Christ, the Alpha and the Omega, the masculine and the feminine, here together in co creation. Yeah, in co creation with, you know, the divine feminine and the masculine, the sisters and brothers. Yeah. On that note, thank you, Kiva. I feel like sometimes, this is a good example. This is a good example for all of us, and perhaps, really for me, is like I feel good like when I'm in the flow and I'm sharing and just allowing spirit to move through. It's easy. And then when I see a comment like, "Oh, you're on fire, Lisa, beautiful and in the flow," I'm like, "Oh my gosh," like, is it too much? And every all around me, I'm hearing, "No, it's not too much. It's not too much, Lisa. Stop." And in fact, Lisa, you have been stopping yourself for decades now. And on the flip side of that, during that time, you've also been healing yourself. You've also been breaking cycles. You've been clearing karma. You've been letting go. You've been growing. You have been in that process of death and rebirth over and over and over again, and still here, still inspired, feeling more strongly the inner fire. It's like, it's a really beautiful place to be. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful, Kiva, for you. And I'm so glad that we have reconnected in this lifetime. And to all of those of you who are watching this live or going to catch it on the replay, please let me know. Is there something in here that was inspiring to you? Can you relate to any of the messages? Sometimes it's like, I don't know, is it just an echo, 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 an echo chamber? Is anyone out there? Is anybody out there? And through the YouTube analytics and stuff, a large part of the audience is much younger than me. It says anywhere from 25 to 30, to 45. And then there's some of the seniors too. I wonder if I know any of those people. If I did, that would be super cool. uh it's just, ultimately it's like, let's begin to open up the communication. Let's stop holding ourselves, let's stop holding ourselves back. like, because our mind will do that to us each and every time. And the devil is a busy boy and a tricky foe, not a friend, a foe. Very tricky, very, sneaky. And this is why it feels like something about that Pluto in Aquarius going retrograde in Aquarius. It's about connecting to a deep recess, not for everyone. Perhaps it's connecting and harnessing a deep storehouse of energy that has been at the base of your spine for a very long time. It feels like all energy, moving. What was that? I didn't look at the video the other day at 38 or something. I think there was something that came in the room, and I just saw something here as well. So it's about like shifting and moving things along, because your destiny is unfolding. That wheel of fortune has turned in your favor, beloved, for all of us. And our cup is about to spill over. And the good works, the very, very good works, and the abundance, and the it just feels like the resource rich works that are going to be done. And it's just simplicity. It's like sharing a meal together, growing food together, preserving food together. That's a conversation for another day. We will talk about that, though. I'm going to share some pictures and stuff too of the food that has, I've recently bought produce that basically after a couple days is like rotting. I threw out like 2 sweet potatoes today, some apples and stuff. I won't eat it. So it also feels like there's a call again back to basics, the simplicity, the simple things. And it's the simple things that amount to the big things. And it's the, Lisa and Kiva connecting, and then, that connection growing from 2 to 4 to 8 to 16 to 32 to 64, and on and on and on. And the beat goes on and on and on. And the love lives on and on and on, eternally so. We are souls. So I'd like to thank you all for being here today, or this evening. It's 10:23. And yeah, I just feel like I'm going to go and check and see if there's any stars in the sky before I make my way to sleep. So thanks so much, Kiva, for being here and being engaged. I absolutely love you, and I'm so grateful for your presence here in my life today and every day. And to all the rest of you, thank you so much for showing up. I trust that there's been something here that's been a drop to support the filling of your cup, because we are each a beautiful chalice of light, and we hold the key to the path of abundance, creation, co-creation, and delight. I see you. I feel you. I love you. Stay tuned Monday. There is an interactive message from the angels that will go out. I'll be back with you Tuesday morning live. That's the next one I have in mind. And it'll probably be more like early afternoon, like 12:21 or something like that, because my son's away and the dog needs to be taken care of. So I'm trying to get into a routine this week that's the first thing I do when I get up. So it gives me the rest of my time before work for me. So with that being said, everyone, have a great Saturday night. Thank you, Kiva. I'm glad I made your night. You made my night. Yeah. Same. We're not insane. And we have sacred blood running through our veins. Thanks for showing up.